Alright, so I don't really like doing videos like this on the basis that I like making videos about positive things and cool stuff, because gaming's been really good as of recent, if you ask me. But, Sony just dropped something that fills me with visceral rage, and I feel as though not enough people are talking about it. So, in case you haven't heard, PlayStation recently got approved for this patent for a controller that has no buttons. What you are seeing in this picture is a controller that has a touchscreen where the position of the buttons change depending on what game you're playing or what settings you adjust. I think it's safe to say that this could potentially be the PlayStation 6's controller, and Sony, for the love of God, if you're watching this video, which I doubt, please, I speak for everyone when I say, do not do this. Looking at these pictures just makes me sick to my stomach with rage because of how impractical this would be to use. There is so much wrong with this idea that I'm not really sure where to start, but I'll just start naming things that are terrible about it. Let's just start with this. The reason why so many video game controllers feel so nice to use is because you don't even have to look at them to know what button you're pressing. Because it has such a distinct shape and feel in the hands, you just know whenever the game tells you press X or press the right trigger, yep, you pressed it. You don't even need to look down at the controller. It feels so nice. A touchscreen, however, is completely flat. There's no way to feel where the buttons or sticks are when you're looking at the screen. There's no responsiveness whenever you press a touchscreen. There's no, clickiness or rumble or anything. It's a touchscreen. Now, as bad as this sounds, you would think that it wouldn't be too bad as long as you can memorize where everything is, right? Wrong! Once again, the whole idea behind this controller is to change where the buttons can be. So not only can you not feel where the buttons are, it's also going to be very hard to memorize it if they're always changing position. And if I'm being so honest, if those were the only things wrong with this controller, I'd still be upset, but it's hard to say I would care enough to make a video about it. But what really infuriates me is that this controller patent is a side effect of a trend that companies are doing that pisses me off to no end. It's this idea that all appliances and devices need a touchscreen if we want to improve on them. No, they don't. The only thing that touchscreens do for everyday objects, appliances, and devices is just make them more unusable and more prone to failure. There's touchscreens on toasters, touchscreens on coffee machines, touchscreens inside of your car that replace all the buttons and knobs you push with just one big screen. There's screens on the gas station refrigerator doors that don't correctly show the drinks that are inside of the refrigerator. Why would you replace the glass? It's glass. I can see through the glass and I can see what drink is in there. When you add a screen that doesn't show what's correctly inside of the fridge, all it does is just make it more unusable. And it's probably more expensive for you to manage and operate. But it's not just the principle of them making a PlayStation controller with an unnecessary touchscreen. I want you to really think about what's gonna happen when these controllers hit the market and you need one to play your PlayStation 6. What's about to happen? Let's say you got your PlayStation 6 and you want another controller to play with your friend, right? That's going to cost probably somewhere around $120 to $160 if we consider the fact that PlayStation 5 controllers are like $70. You tack a screen onto that, that's going above the 100s if we're being generous. Not only that, but because there's so much unnecessary technology put into this small, tiny little device, it's gonna crash, it's gonna be slow, it's gonna break, and then guess what? You're dropping another $150 just to replace it. Putting a screen on this controller will not only make it ungodly expensive, but it also ensures that this thing will break within at least a year and you'll have to replace it and spend even more money, which just means more money in PlayStation's pockets. At least with the Joy-Con drift, and I can't believe that was a sentence that just came out of my mouth. If you were a skilled enough gamer, you could fight against it by pushing back against the drift and still have like 85% of the controller still be completely usable. But with this touchscreen controller, if one thing breaks, it's over. It's all just a screen. I had a Joy-Con with a broken R button a few years ago, but I used it for a while because it's only just one button that's broken. If the screen on this PlayStation controller breaks, I can't press anything else. It's done. It's over. It's completely unusable. And for the love of God, what is the battery life on this thing gonna look like? The battery life on the PS5 controller is already terrible. You're gonna add a screen onto that? Are you serious? But I digress. This is just a patent. It's just a concept. It very well cannot be real, and I pray that it's not. I pray that the people at Sony realize that people like pressing buttons, and it's what makes using a controller so nice to begin with. It's just that this idea of a touchscreen controller just ignites so much fury inside of me, because it's such a pet peeve of mine that we have to over-insert advanced technology into things that don't need to be fixed. It makes whatever the product is so much more unusable and so much more prone to hardware failures and breaking and all of that. It just makes it 10 times worse for no reason other than making it seem like the product is more advanced because it has a shiny touchscreen. But anyways, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna go play my PS5 because that's probably the console I'll still be playing with when the PS6 drops, if it has this horrid design of a controller. I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think this is a bad or good idea? I'd probably think most of you would think this is a bad idea if any of you have a conscience or have played a video game console before. But nonetheless, tell me your thoughts, because I really like engaging with comments on topics like this. And I'll see y'all in the next video, I guess. Bye!